Good morning, guys. My name is Jason. I'm the founder of Distress Loan Advisors. If you'd like to book some time with me, there is a link below, or you can go to my website, jasontees.com. Today is May 5th, 2024, and I actually have some pretty exciting news. The SBA has, well, I don't want to say announced, but there was an article in the Wall Street Journal by Ruth Simon, and that is the reporter who I brought the original EIDL story to. And she wrote a follow-up story, and I'll put a link to it below in the notes. But essentially, she's just talking about how the 30% penalty is pretty outrageous and that it wasn't in any of the original loan documents. And the SBA's defense to that was, well, this program is not funded, so it funds itself through that fee. But, no other lender charges a 30%, default penalty. So she called them out on that. And, but within that article, there was another very interesting tidbit. The SBA apparently has struck an agreement with the Treasury that they are going to service EIDL loans for up to 2 years, even when they're delinquent going forward. And what that means in practical terms is if your loan has been referred to the Treasury, it's coming back. You can request that the SBA send it back or pull it back from the Treasury, and they'll do that. My take on this is that, in typical SBA fashion, they did not plan sufficiently for the tidal wave of defaults that they got. And so after people were complaining that you literally could not reach the Treasury unless you wanted to wait on hold for 3 to 5 hours, they were like, hey, maybe it's not a great idea to send stuff to Treasury, because if they can't reach us, how are they going to pay us? So a couple months ago, the SBA said if you bring it current and let the SBA know, they would bring it back. And so, I scrambled to find out what the details behind that were. Really couldn't get any. I actually emailed the guy in the video, Alex Contreras, didn't respond. I'm sure he's very busy and important, handling 1 million defaulted loans that have been referred to Treasury. So anyway, so in the article that Ruth Simon wrote in the Wall Street Journal, she mentioned that it will come back, but it was kind of light on details. So I ended up just calling the Treasury to see what I could find out. And I made a recording of it. And so you can hear it for yourself. This is actually pretty exciting because you can hear it. They're saying these will go back. You just got to give it a little time. So let me just play it. This is just audio. Oops, hold on.
Thank you for calling the Department of Treasury. Our hours of operation are 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Due to the current staffing constraints and increased volumes, the call center is expecting longer than usual wait times. We appreciate your patience, and we will be with you as soon as possible.
Yeah, be patient for 9 hours.
For your convenience, you can visit fiscal.treasury.gov/pay for more payment options. Please listen to all menu options before. If you are calling about a debt associated with a COVID EIDL or COVID PPP loan, please be aware that the SBA will be recalling these debts from the Treasury's cross-servicing program to service them itself. Please be aware that the recall process for these accounts may take a few weeks. If you'd like to speak to an agent to verify if your loan is now being serviced by the SBA, please remain on the line. Alternatively, you may contact SBA directly at 1-800-736-6048.
So you know what's going to happen now. The people at the SBA are not going to know anything about this for a couple of weeks because, for whatever reason, reporters, me, other people seem to find this stuff out before the SBA actually rolls it out to their own employees, which is, inexcusable, but this is how they roll. So, but as you heard in that recording, I actually called the Treasury, and it basically, if you want to call yourself, You call, you press 1 for English, and then you press 4 and you get that recording. So that's really positive news. Now, we don't have all the details. So like, I don't know, like if you get pulled back and you're a year past due, they don't have a hardship accommodation for a year. So what I don't know is if they'll give you a hardship to shave off 6 months of your default, if they're going to require that you bring it current. So hopefully they start to roll out programs to people who express a willingness to bring these things current. But we don't yet have those details. So, as you guys find this stuff out, feel free to shoot me an email. I get so many comments these days that unfortunately don't have a chance to read them all. But if anything interesting happens when you get pulled back from Treasury and you want to tell your story, you just want other people to know, feel free to shoot me an email. If you've got documents from the SBA or screenshots or whatever, you can share all of that stuff. So that's it. That is the big update. If your loan has been referred to the Treasury, sit tight. It's going to come back to the SBA. I wouldn't leave it up to chance personally. I would suggest calling them at the number that they reference for the SBA. And of course, because it was like 800,000 of these loans had already been referred to the Treasury, chances are it's going to be a little bumpy trying to reach the SBA for a bit, but I would recommend trying to reach them and confirming that your loan will be coming back at some point, and confirming if there's something specific that you need to do other than just make the request. So that's it. Thanks as always for listening. And as updates come in, I will keep you guys updated. And hopefully once the SBA starts taking these things back for that, they're saying 2 years now, that they'll start rolling out other things. And one other thing I wanted to mention, I did get an email from a borrower who I had done a consult with, and she still follows, and she made a really good point. She said, it's a real shame that people are going on the internet and like on Reddit in particular and taking bad advice from people, because you got a lot of people who just keep screaming bankruptcy, bankruptcy, bankruptcy. And not that it's not a good option for some people in some situations, but it's not a good option for everybody in all situations. So I would just say this is a great example of, if you kind of just take a measured approach to this without panicking, things can work out without going the nuclear route. So in other words, people who had gotten referred to the Treasury, I told them, you can take a wait and see approach. If they put you in the Treasury offset program and they start taking your money, then you can make a decision. But until then, they're not going to sue you, or at least they haven't up to this point. And, that would have worked out good for anybody who got referred to the Treasury, because now it's coming back and you don't have a bankruptcy. So, again, just, take everything you read on the internet with a grain of salt, because you don't know who is giving that information, and people are well-meaning, but very often they're wrong. So that's it. Thanks for listening.